Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of The Shooting Show, and welcome to today's program, friends. In fact, you'll notice we had someone call, we had a couple of people call last week and said, Johnny, what's that noise? And it's crickets. We're down here, it's time of year, and they were kind of overwhelming last week. I hear them out there. They're not at full song today, though, so maybe that's not so bad. Do not adjust your set. We have an oversupply of crickets, which sometimes happens. Well, friends, we are indeed thankful to be here today. We're still free Americans. We're still American gun owners. And I tell you what, that is something that I don't know how long we'll be able to say. You know, we talked about on last week's program, in California now, if you've got something like a Mini 14 with a detachable magazine, well, they don't like the fact that you may have that. If you have an AR-15, like our 460 Rowland here with a detachable magazine, or just an AR-15 that has a pistol grip, please tell me what would make a pistol grip deadlier than a non-pistol grip gun. Friends, it is stupid. And we know we have a lot of good viewers in California, a lot of people who care about us as free Americans, us as gun owners, and I think it is an absolute shame the way the people in California are being overrun. I tell you what we need to do. You know, we've got a lot of new citizens out in California that are Hispanic. And let me tell you what, we've got to have votes. And a friend of ours goes to a shooting range out there, and he makes a point of talking to the Hispanic young people because they don't know anything about the Constitution. They don't know anything. They're not being taught in school. And let me tell you what, we've got to have more women. We've got to have more Hispanics. We've got to have more people of Asian extraction. We've got to have more black people. We've got to have people of all races who care about us as the United States of America. Forget where you're from, forget what you look like, we're all Americans here. And if more of us, you know, somebody called me the other day and they said, well, they couldn't support some program or some politician because there was somebody in the party that they didn't like. I'm sorry about that. Let's get real. We're losing this fight. We're losing our fight as gun owners. We're losing our fights to remain or even get back some of the freedom that we've lost. And friends, I tell you what, see the liberals, Fred Parker called the other day, he says, you know, Johnny, the liberals, doesn't matter, they can get organized on anything because the liberal socialists don't have a moral foundation. They don't have a moral code, so they can get organized on anything. There's not as many of them, but guess what? You can get them organized. And our own people are so busy backbiting and quibbling among themselves, and yes, I'm going to continue to be tough on the NRA, because the NRA is not the answer. Free Americans who go to the polls are the answer. You know what? And this is not a political message for Senator Bob Smith, but think about it. If the NRA would get off top dead center of whatever they do, and they wrote to their members and said, hey, if 1 million people sent Senator Smith $50, 1 million gun owners, and that's only 1 in 70. If 1 in 70 gun owners sent Senator Smith a donation of $50, that would be $50 million he would have to fight with. Probably not going to do it. So that's why we're here today, friends, to talk about these things. You heard last week on last week's program, and this is a half-hour show. I've got to be quick about this. But you know, in Connecticut, if the authorities think you may be planning a crime, or they think, or maybe you have a neighbor that doesn't like the fact that you own guns, and your neighbor calls the police and said, hey, Mr. X over here next door, I think he's thinking about robbing a bank. Guess what? The police can come to your home, even though what happened to innocent until proven guilty? What happened? Since when do these people get the permission from the Constitution of the United States to presume you are guilty until proven innocent? How you going to prove that, no, sir, I wasn't planning on hitting a bank. I wasn't planning on hurting anybody. I just like my guns. That's what you're going to be in court saying after they've got your guns. Wait a minute, this is already a law in Connecticut. It's already in place. If they think you may be considering a crime, maybe you're a gun enthusiast, maybe your neighbor's not comfortable with that, so they report you. Doesn't this sound somewhat like Hitler's Germany, when you had people who were decent citizens and the neighbors got mad at them and they reported them to Hitler's crowd or to the SS or to the brown shirts or whoever. That's what's happening here now, friends. It's here. It's here. You want to help us stay on the air, please do. Please join our GRA. Do whatever you can do. But we've got to reach more people. You know, this program literally reaches hundreds of thousands of people every week across the United States. Hundreds of thousands. That's great. It's not enough. It's not enough. Very few of those hundreds of thousands of homes support this program. I'm talking a handful. And it's helped keep us on the air. Very few. You know, I spoke to a gun club this past Sunday. And of course, they were from here, and you know, Prophets Without Honor in his homeland, and you're not an expert till you pass 50 miles from home, and I wasn't quite 50 miles away. And you know, I got up and I told these people, said, look, here's what's happening. And they looked at me like I was from another planet. They did not have a clue. Good people, but just saying, what's he talking about, Martha? You don't mean I'm going to come get my gun? I don't think. Hey, we got the Second Amendment. That's where they are. And I tell you what, friends, it's a crying shame that so many of our decent gun owners, they're asleep. And every time they yawn, we hope, well, we can wake them up this time. Maybe Bill Clinton can wake them up this time. They turn over and go back to sleep. It's got to be stopped. It's got to be stopped. We've got to get together. We have got to get more people in this fight. Because we don't. I'll tell you what. You know, I told those people Sunday, nice people they were, said, you know what? When you are behind that chain link fence that the blue helmeted people have put you behind, when the one world global unionists have put you behind, and your children and grandchildren, maybe they come up to see you and wave at granddad or daddy, or mommy, for that matter, sure, grandma or mommy, whoever. And you say, how'd this happen? And then you may ask yourself, you know, maybe I should have done something. Maybe we should have all done something back when we could, rather than waiting until it's too late. That's where we are, friends. And we're trying, and those of you help us stay on there, we appreciate you being there. Those of you who can't send money but say a nice word or say something good about the shooting show, thank you. We appreciate you being there. Want to mention a couple of things. Yes, we've had a good response. Our good friend Dennis Crocker, I'll take my 460, which goes with me everywhere I go. The holster here, Dennis Crocker has these custom Kramer holsters. You get this in an ammo pack for $125. It's a $160 value. It fits the gun perfectly. We really appreciate Dennis. Let me give you his phone number. Dennis Crocker, area 864-587-8722. Again, area 864-587-8722. And give him a call if you'd like to have one of these holsters. We are now sold out of our 460 uppers, but we're going to be ordering some more for the AR-15. I said on last week's program that yes, indeed, we had exactly one left in stock. We're going to reorder for the upper for the AR-15. And remember how simple this is. $559 for the upper, $849 for the entire gun. And in fact, also the kit for the 460. And let's see if we can come in and take a look at this. This is our drop-in kit for the 1911. Yes, we are working. Our Kimber Compact so far is doing great in the... See, we have to do some torture tests, finding out what will hold up. And the Kimber Compact is doing great so far. And this is our kit for the 1911, $275. No paperwork involved. Convert your 1911 into a 44 Magnum class. In fact, this thing does some things that you cannot do with a 44 Magnum. Our kit does. So anyway, well, let's get started. You know, we had a question the other day about... we shot a water bottle with the Full Metal Jacket 223. We've got a Mini 14 here in 223. And let's refresh our memory a little bit on just what this looks like. We'll get a shooting show underway here.
Stay tuned for more of the shooting show after these important messages.
Friends, please help the shooting show stay on the air. You know, it's great sport, but it's also the very survival of our freedom as gun owners in this country. Will you please help us stay on there? We do this in part, due to a large part, through your donations. Will you please help us? Will you please help the shooting show stay on the air? The shooting show, send whatever you can. 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Dublin, Louisiana. Zip code is 71024. Our phone number 318-377-5189. Yes, we can take credit cards. Please help support our products. And friends, please, if you can, donate whatever you can to help us stay on the air. Friends, you're looking at the great Georgia Arms 45 Colt DA cartridge, our commercial actually, for this Ruger Blackhawk and 45 Colt. But let me tell you what, Georgia Arms also has the best lineup of handgun and rifle ammunition available here in the United States. They also have components and a great catalog. You can call them for a free catalog. Remember, they are shipping 2 of the 460 Rowlands loads daily. They have the Power Plus load, the 185 grain nostril bullet running 1,550 feet per second, and also the defense load, which is a 185 grain bullet at about 1,400 feet per second. Makes a lot of sense for home defense or if you are a police officer. Friends, give them a call today, get a free catalog, and please tell them, if you don't mind, please tell them you saw it here on our program, because it helps us, it helps them, and it helps us too. We've had a lot of questions about comparing our 460 Rowland and the carbine to the 223. And certainly the 223 is a good cartridge, and the Mini 14 is a good gun, as is the AR-15 system. But there are a lot of things that our cartridge, our 460, is just much more practical for. Let's take a look at, of course, realize this 55 grain bullet's running 3,150 feet per second. See the water bottle here. And we also had a question about our full metal jacket performance, which quite a few folks are now ordering specs on and wanting information on our 230 grain full metal jacket load, because they go fishing in bear country, or certainly they'd like to have a handy camp carbine, something that's light and easy to shoot. But let's just suppose that that Puma or mountain lion or a wild hog, or in some parts of the country, in Alaska, in the Rocky Mountain areas, you may have a bear of some kind. Let's just do a quick demo. We've done this before. See the full metal jacket bullet on the water bottle from the 223. Okay, it does about like we expected. Unload this gun. Now let's set up another bottle and hit it with our 460. Now let's shoot the next water bottle with this full metal jacket 460 out of our carbine. I think you can agree, much more shock realized from a full metal jacket bullet. Let's do something else. Now friends, on the 223 and our 460 Rowland, muzzle energies are similar. Ours is a little stronger on muzzle energies, but you know what? There's something to be said for that big bullet. We've got a couple of different rounds loaded here in for the 223. We know this gun's empty. We've got a full metal jacket, and then we've got a hollow point or a soft nose right behind it. Let's watch the steel disc out here, and let's see what happens when we hit it with the 223 full metal jacket. I realize it is securely anchored. Let's see what happens. And remember, we only shoot steel with plastic glasses, impact glasses, shooting glasses, something that would protect us in the event that a bullet came apart or something flew back. That is an absolute, no exceptions procedure we have when we're down here shooting. In a life and death situation, at that point you wouldn't worry about it, but when we're practicing, you know, Mr. Murphy's always out there, Murphy's Law, and sometimes what can go wrong sometimes will, so there's just no excuse to shoot without shooting glasses. Okay, watch the disc with the full metal jacket 223. Moved a little bit, punched a little hole. Well, let's see what happens when we shoot it with the hollow point expanding bullet. You didn't see it move much, did you? Okay, let's try it again. And you can see the spot there, and let's go ahead and unload this gun. You can see the spot. Check on, remember, 3 times. 3 times. 1, 2, 3 to be sure it's unloaded. Okay, we've got a full metal jacket here on our 460. We have a hollow point behind it. Let's see the full metal jacket bullet on the steel target. Notice how it moved the steel target. In fact, our cross piece there is cracking. Let's try it with the hollow point, see what happens. See how much further, how much more impact that our 460 bullet hit this steel target. Let's do one more thing. Now, friends, what we've got here, we've got our water bottle. We did this test last week, or a week or so ago, whenever we did it, with our 460 and the pistol. Well, here we've got a 223, and we've got a water bottle here, a landscape timber, remember, a tough piece of wood, center of the tree, and another water bottle behind it. So let's see what happens when we shoot this landscape timber surrounded by water bottles on softer target penetration, shall we say. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Okay, friends, that blew the first one away, of course, but look at the second water bottle, unscathed. Absolutely did not hurt the second water bottle. Let's try the same drill, and of course the 223 is no joke, but let's try that same drill with our 460. Okay, let's don't stop the camera, just let it run. Now, friends, what it did, of course, like the 223, of course, it grenaded the first bottle, literally. But, our gun's on safe. In and out on the landscape timber. And here we go. That bottle's empty. That's why it didn't fall off. There's nothing left in it. In hole here, out the back. So what we have is dramatically more power, just raw horsepower for its intended purpose over the 223 carbine. Just pretty amazing what this thing will do.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
Friends, please help the shooting show stay on the air. You know, it's great sport, but it's also the very survival of our freedom as gun owners in this country. Will you please help us stay on the air? We do this in part, due to a large part, through your donations. Will you please help us? Will you please help the shooting show stay on the air? The shooting show, send whatever you can. 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Duberly, Louisiana. Zip code is 71024. Our phone number 318-377-5189. Yes, we can take credit cards. Please help support our products. And friends, please, if you can, donate whatever you can to help us stay on the air.
And we want to mention the good folks at Clark Custom Guns in Princeton, Louisiana, one of the most complete gun shops in the entire United States. They do all sorts of things like this specialty meltdown on this new STI gun. Also, they have an excellent staff of people to help you with guns such as these Benelli Super Black Eagles, taking 3.5-inch magnums, a complete line of handguns, semi-automatics, revolvers, all sorts of neat things in the shop there. And of course, here's Mr. Jim Clark himself out helping a customer, some of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet. They have a complete line of loading supplies, loading tools, gunpowder, you name it, primers, all sorts of accessories for your guns, whatever you might need, certainly within reason. Here's Kay Clark Michalik when she's not winning championships, back working there in the office. And here's her husband, Jerry Michalik, the fastest revolver shooter in the world, when he's not winning championships at work. Here's Jim Clark Jr. back on the lathe, the same drill, when he's not winning championships, working right there in the shop. That's why you can get such complete quality of product and expertise here at Clark Custom Guns. Friends, give them a call today, area 318-949-9884. They have a great catalog. We appreciate them supporting our project.
You know, friends, this is our Dan Wesson revolver and .460 Rowland, and we've had a huge amount of interest since we showed how these revolvers, and especially the compensated shroud. Now, you have a lot of manufacturers now that are offering compensators similar, well, not exactly like this Dan Wesson, but doing similar things, trying to relieve the pressure in the barrel, trying to alleviate recoil. And I'll tell you something that we learned this past week, this Dan Wesson compensator. It's 1.5 inches long past the actual barrel. The Dan Wesson compensator increases velocity on the 4-inch barrel by about 30 feet per second. We just found that remarkable, and there are some pretty unusual engineering explanations for that. But we've sold several of these guns, our .460 Dan Wessons, and a lot of people want the same combination, which I think is really good, that the factory sent us to have here on the program. We've got a 4- and an 8-inch barrel. One, certainly the 8 for extended sighting or extended eye relief as far as the sighting plane, which does make them easier to shoot. Not necessarily more accurate, say, than a 4-inch barrel, but you see you've only got this much space between the rear sight and the front sight, and on the 8-inch barrel you simply have a longer sighting radius. So instead of that much, you've got another 4 inches of sight radius, which is helpful in sighting. That's why a lot of people have the idea that longer barreled guns are more accurate, and that may or may not be, probably not, but you have a longer sight radius and your eye can more easily line up the sights on or underneath the target. So that's what that's about. But we wanted to show you something. We had done a little demonstration a couple of weeks ago, whenever we did, with the Ruger Super Blackhawk and .44 Magnum, and realized in the revolvers we have the equivalent of a 4 or 5-inch .44 Magnum on our semi-automatic pistol, but we also get the same results in the revolver. So even with the 4-inch barrel, our 1550 load in the pistol is still exceeding around 1,500 feet per second, even with a 4-inch barrel. So it's rather remarkable what these things will do, which is a 180 grain bullet in a 4-inch .44 Magnum, an absolutely maxed out pressure max load would be the 180 grain bullet at around 1,500 feet per second, and most of the factory loads simply won't do that in a 4-inch barrel, but our gun will because of our cartridge and the way it is set up. Okay, let's do a little demonstration. We've got the 4-inch Dan Wesson here, and we've got 6 of our Power Plus loads. This is what you can order from Georgia Arms. You can also order the defense load, which I think makes a lot of sense for many, many applications. But this is the super hot load, running well over 1,500 feet per second in this revolver. Let's see what it looks like. In fact, let's let you help me shoot it. Now, friends, this will be a good chance to go over the basics of sight alignment. You'll notice you want the top of that front sight level with the notch here in the back, and you want an equal amount of light on both sides of your front sight, like so. And let's go ahead and shoot it. And yes, we hit that steel disc, and you'll notice, yeah, we have some recoil in our 4-inch barrel. Of course we do. It's not so bad. It's not objectionable to me as compared to a 44. But yes, we have some recoil. Yeah, we got our plate swinging pretty well there, don't we? Not that bad a group, tell you the truth. Okay, I think that's all of them. Yes, indeed, we fired all 6. Unload our moon clip here. Isn't that a neat system?
Stay tuned for more of the shooting show after these important messages.
All right, friends, we have our compensated barrel in place here. Realize the rifling comes to right here, and this acts as a combustion chamber. And of course, you put this piece on the end, it screws in place, and all this is done. You have a wrench here. This is just hand tight here, certainly. Let's go ahead and put our loads in here. And all right, now then, remember how we have pretty severe recoil. Same gun, same loads, compensated barrel. Let's watch it. Shot the same way. I mean, instead of up here, it's just watch. And we're hitting our target. Watch it. That's 6. Now we got 1 left. Okay. See, friends, again, 44 Magnum plus power, and you saw it shot through the camera. Now, friends, we have more on this particular segment, but we're not going to be able to get to it today. Let me go to our support group. Something new I want to tell you about. For all kinds of gun information on the internet, you can go to www.shooters.com. A tremendous number of shooting subjects there. We also have our good friend Dennis Crocker. And remember these great holsters that Dennis is making available through his company for our 460 guns. You can reach Dennis if you have questions. You can reach him at area 864-587-8722. We have custom leather work in Saddlery in Denham Springs, Louisiana, all kinds of leather work. You can call them at area 225-667-9225. If you need your gun stock painted, you can call Camouflage Technologies. They do all kinds of neat patterns. Their number is area 909-674-6488. For great artwork on the internet, you can go to Flying Horse Galleries at www.flyinghorse.net. And for work on pistols and revolvers, you can call our friend Bruce Warren with BC Armory in East Leroy, Michigan. His number is area 616-729-5508. And if you're in the Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals, Sheffield, Florence, Alabama area, you can call our friend Wade Cottrell for a refrigeration, heating, and cooling service. His number is area 256-381-1887. Friends, please remember our gospel show up next, also our radio show on the American Freedom Network on Sundays from noon until 2 o'clock Eastern Time on SpaceNet 4, channel 19, 5.82 audio. We'll see you on the next show.
Well, okay.